Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Jasper Winabo, the thrash metal guru here. Well, it's a very difficult way to start off with. I guess might as well take a drink or something just to soothe the awkwardness. It's a lot better when it's cold. Room temperature is probably not the best place for vodka. Save that for cold. Okay. So, I've been at work for a couple of hours, or actually, using my usual shifts. I usually miss out on a lot of things when it comes to hangouts, Skype calls, any sorts of events that have been going on. The What's in Your Wallet live hangout, which I think was hosted by MDA, and then we have the Forever Fun one, whichever the one that was. But then I saw something that really just got me, blown away in the sense of the debate between the science and logic between a lot of people who give their thoughts, in a very, very, very professional-like manner versus one little ignorant person from a religious Westboro Baptist church group, which I'm not going to name drop. But there was a Skype debate between this person and everyone else who were trying to ask all these questions. Just trying to get the whole thing straight with why Westboro Baptist Church, does what they do, and why this certain person, became this way, and had all these crazy ideas. And after watching all of this, Undertaker Freak 1127, Robert Frost, I don't really want to name drop because I don't know all of the YouTube channels, but we do have Must Destroy All, who was also in there, and some other people as well. So when we watched through the, or I myself, because I wasn't there, I saw through into the live stream that this person just had no logical, scientific points to argue against when it came to that part of disproving some things that the Bible it said, from a different perspective from what this person was arguing. All he did was preach Bible verses. There was nothing scientific. There was nothing, with any redeeming quality for any arguments or any points to deliver back to another opposing group asking these certain questions. And what I would say it would piss me off, but then again, it's so predictable of that person to say this sort of thing. When someone they knew, or on the opposing team, when someone they knew who was in the army for 2 years, and the person lost their lives defending freedom of speech for everyone, including Westboro Baptist Church, this person shat all over that person by what he said to him about his friend, or I think it was his family member, who ended up dying. He said they were going to be in hell. I've had my arguments and debates between one conservative Christian before. I've even actually had my video when it came to the Jehovah's Witnesses, but motherfucker, this just... oh my god, So I just want to be straight about something here. This person who represents Westboro Baptist Church picking and choosing certain things out of the Bible, and everything that I've seen out of this dude was nothing but either contradictions, hypocrisies. It's the same thing I can usually say about some of the other videos that I've made about other people as well, and some of them is basically based on subjectivity, which, by the way, this person had no idea what subjectivity was. Between objective and subjective, he did not know what subjective was. Pardon me for that. I just couldn't believe it. So, subjective, being that it's based upon more of the feelings rather than the factual evidence, he didn't know this certain word of subjective was. Are you fucking kidding? No. That's just... Whoa, there's a lot more. I'll even link down the live stream down below. This guy actually had his ass handed to him by a shit ton of people. I actually missed out on all this by a part of 30 minutes because I was at work at the time. By the time I got back, I was 30 minutes behind and the live stream already ended. But all he did was spout out Bible verses and all that, and it's saying that, the group that he represented was like the ones chosen from God. And who in the fuck thinks like that? I mean, seriously. And not to mention, he kept saying to John, this guy kept interrupting everyone else with his arguments and telling Undertaker Freak that he hates God, but when in fact, how can you hate something that doesn't exist? That's like saying that there's no purpose on being created on Earth if you can't express your own emotions about something. Like, if you're supposed to actually have a purpose, I mean, then there's basically no profound structure or profound purpose of actually living on Earth. It defeats the purpose. There's no point of being here. And as in regard to actually comparing that into what he is saying, is that there is no point on hating something if you think, in subjectivity, by the way, if something or someone, depending on who this deity or, goddess or god, whatever it was, if they don't exist, there is no point in hating something that's not there. So why does this person continue to just spout out these sort of things? And deliberately hating on one thing is just beyond reprehensible to just fathom here for a minute, because from all these other things, and he even dodged the questions about the animals and all that, let's get one thing clear. What do humans and animals, like plants themselves on the earth, we can include that too as well, have in common? Living creatures. We are like other creatures. Mammals. There are other creatures that are mammals like us. You kind of see, and just to point out that animals have no souls. I mean, now, I'm not saying for a fact that animals do have souls, because if you're going to say that, that means humans also have souls. But that's still based upon subjectivity, because religion itself is also subjective as well. We don't know for a fact. We don't know until science proves otherwise. So technically, religion cannot be proven nor disproven. Although, in the reprehensible sense that religion has been one of the top main reasons for war, all of this sort of other thing, including the Crusades as well. We can also remember the Crusades. But Jesus Christ, this dude has... And let me just push that for a minute and just say, I don't think this person knows the difference between humbleness and pride. Nor do I think he understands the limits between shameful and unshameful. To me, I think he's blinded. He follows. He doesn't walk down, he doesn't branch off the beaten path, questioning the views because someone else says so. He follows. And the way he judges people, the way he judges an entire group without giving a shred of evidence, structural arguments, any profound points or any sources or any citations, anything. No, it's Bible. It's the Bible. Or reading something off the computer when everyone else actually had their facts right off the fucking head. Instead of using a fucking computer, or instead of reading a book, we'll just pretend this is a Bible. Let's just pretend. Instead of just looking at something that was written by man, in which, by the way, God did not create the Bible. If he did, which I've also argued this many times before, don't you think that the sort of true knowledge from the Bible would have been passed on to the human race itself if the Bible was created by God? You got to also remember, if the Bible also was created by men, don't you think there would have been at least some point, obviously some point, that people would question this so much, to saying that God would talk to any one of these people, and not to mention killing off the whole argument that God hates the entire world, and there's no point God would send Jesus to die for your sins. Now, I'm not arguing religion. I'm just trying to. That's just what was written in the Bible. I mean, picking and choosing something like that is just, yeah. But seriously. Now, personally, myself, I'm kind of, I still believe in God, but I have my doubts. It kind of hints the agnostic view. But, shit, why... He persecuted atheists and persecuted people who don't believe or actually have doubts about God. There's nothing wrong with questioning something we don't know for a fact. And just what I wanted to argue to this person is, this is the one thing that I wanted to ask him. Am I supposed to be thankful for a deity that I have never seen in my entire years of my life, 21 years to be exact, when in fact my two parents who raised me, with the money they spent, the roof they put over my head, the food they gave me, the clothes that they put on me as well, I'm supposed to thank God for a fact when in fact what I'm seeing in front of my own eyes, flesh and blood, that my parents helped me, what's left of my friends who have actually tried to help me through my life, to help me not commit suicide, try to be a good person, who tried to lead me onto a good path. There is still between also a good amounts of morality and what is to be said from a fucking book. A book that could be just most notoriety viewed as a work of fiction. Now, I'm not saying everything in the Bible is a work of fiction. I believe that there are some things that may have happened, and some bullshit things that have been written in there as well. Not everything is factual in there. Maybe historically, but not biblically. It has not been proven biblically in those proportions to prove otherwise. There's a lot more things that I can argue about this certain twat or this piece of shit who just mocked this person's friend who served 2 years in the army, and I wanted to just pull my hair out, but there was no point. There's no point on having to argue with lost causes, because I'm a fucking saint. I'm one of the most patient guys that you will ever meet. But I'm just going to say that if one day that the Westboro Baptist Church's influence wears off and it finally goes away and they lose everything, the only thing that I'm just going to have is pity. That is it. There's no other feeling. No compassion, no guilt, no spiritual change, just pity. That is it. To this certain person who spewed all this bullshit in that call with no scientific research at all, wake the fuck up, dude. Calling people dumb when everyone else had their own logic set against your point of religion, as if you were chosen by God, or there was nothing that entitled you to any sense and view to force or extremize your own religion onto other people. There is nothing in there that justifies you with those sorts of actions. There's nothing that justifies you as to mock those other people. You may have the right to, but it doesn't mean you're justified to say these sort of things to other people. It does not justify anything you do. So that's all I have to say. So I'm just going to end this off, and when I take a look at this, I see a lot of things differently. Not in the point of believing, but also in the view of having doubts. This cross is supposed to represent something, right? In the Bible it says Jesus died for our sins. And also, speaking of sins, when a lot of people were arguing about Fred Phelps, I think Fred Phelps kind of represents something as the sins of the Father. You said it yourself, this certain individual, that everyone is actually committed of sin, even Fred Phelps. So I guess all this kind of sources itself a little bit from the Father. So I'll say it again. Sins of the Father. Fred fucking Phelps. Good night, Westboro Baptist Church, and to this certain individual. Hope you can actually have food for thought on that, so you can go fuck yourselves. Bye-bye.